Just saw you in passing. Kamau Franklin. I feel like I know you from a long time. Welcome to Politics Done Right.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, come on a little closer because I need to get you in the thing. Okay, let's start this again.
Here we go.
All right, Kamau Franklin, activist from Atlanta, Georgia, and beyond. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, my brother. How are you feeling?
I am doing fine. What are you doing here at Netroots?
Well, I was invited to come speak on a couple of panels dealing with the issues of domestic terrorism in Cop City. They paid my way, so I came on down.
Well, you know what? We need your voice out here, like we need the voices of folks who are out there on the ground doing the work. You're a lawyer by trade. Talk a little bit about yourself before we get into your works.
Sure. So I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I've been an organizer for over 30 years, mostly doing grassroots organizing. You're right, for about 10 years I practiced law, civil rights, contracts, criminal law, but my heart has always been in grassroots organizing. Developed an organization called Community Movement Builders, and they're in Atlanta now, located is where I do most of my organizing work at.
So that's where I interviewed you back on Zoom for the community work that you're doing. What's the name of the company again?
Community Movement Builders.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Community Movement Builders is a grassroots organization that does work around organizing and what we call sustainable development for the Black community.
Right.
So we organize against the issues of gentrification and organizing against police violence in our communities. We also do what we call sustainable development, which is to keep people in their communities through developing cooperatives, sustainability funds, mutual aid work, and several other things behind that, but those are the mainstays.
In other words, you want to keep that community integral. In other words, you don't want the flight of the folks who have skills and to leave an unskilled community, so you try to develop the community as a whole.
Well, not necessarily an unskilled community, but what we want to do is to make sure that gentrification doesn't rip the community apart, and that working class and poor people have a home and a place to stay in Atlanta, because those are the folks who built Atlanta.
Right.
So we want to make sure that those folks have much resources as possible, not only to stay in their communities, but to fight to make sure that they have control and ownership over how their communities develop.
No, I understand that about gentrification, but I have a thing, because it always irks me a sort of way when people say we want to keep the community informed so that poor people and middle class people and all. Should we even have poor people?
Well, if you didn't have a capitalist system, maybe we wouldn't have poor people. But that has more to do with the governmental system that we have.
I would have hoped that you said that.
No, good. I'm glad I said it then. I'm glad I said it.
And the reason why is that my contention is that we need to build a system that doesn't allow poverty to occur.
That's correct. That's correct.
And if you I don't know if you've been around completely the different organizations we have at Netroots, but there's this thing called universal basic income.
Yes.
That prevents it. No, I mean, there's no reason for anybody to be poor, and the fallacy that there are just a large percentage of people who want to go ahead, and I don't know why I have this ear thing on, but the amount of people that are out there in service are not wanting to produce is a fallacy.
Definitely,
If you pay why am I gentrified?
No, I think you're completely correct. If you pay people resources, if you make sure either they have jobs or a guaranteed way to keep themselves in their homes, make sure that they can feed their kids, feed themselves, you're creating a better society. Most of the time, it's these working people themselves that create the wealth.
Right.
They just get screwed by elected officials and corporations and developers, basically the capitalist class, which hoards those resources and keeps it from everybody else. So we do need a new system, and that system will make sure that wealth is distributed in a way that makes sure people can survive and strive and have power over their communities as opposed to other people having power over them.
I'm gonna twist a little bit, because many of the same people that you would think or would want to say this particular economic system fails, and it's because it's inherently unfair. Or some of the same people that would think they could make it in this system. How do we mitigate that? How do we educate against that behavior that has proven decade after decade, century after century, that in reality it's a failure that simply creates poverty?
Well, you have to do what you're doing. You have to propagate an alternative narrative, because what you have here is a propaganda state where you have, again, this capitalist class, this economic class, through our media, through our news cycles, which continually tell us that we have to pull ourselves up by our bootstrap. And if we don't do that, then somehow we failed as opposed to a system that's failed. So there's no examination of how capitalism works, how corporate buybacks and givebacks work, and how they leave out workers, again, to really share in the wealth that they create. and really be able to have power over their lives, resources, and community. So we need to fight back against that. We need to have another narrative that does that for us. If we allow ourselves only to listen to what I would call corporate media and establishment governments, we will always be behind the curve, because that's the propaganda system that's handed to all of us to tell us how to live.
I am hoping that at some time in our history, we'll understand that the wealthy can only be wealthy by skimming off of the works of others.
Exactly.
In other words, the work of others are the ones that create everything. Kamau, give me a closer.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to share space with you. I think, there's a rich amount of folks here who I've already seen, and it's going to be a delight to get to know people, to start to organize with them, to tell them about what's happening in Atlanta and Cop City, to tell them about organizing on a grassroots level. And so it's good to be here, and it's good to be on your program.
It's my honor to have you, Kamau. I always say Kamau. Kamau.
Kamau.
Kamau. It's an honor to have you on the show, my friend.
I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you so kindly.
All right. Peace.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share.